Is this something you really want to hang your hat on? Again, as an Ohio State fan, I do, but I'm just, as there's people talking online. So I am officially dubbing this the world's cutest national champion. Whoever wins this game is the number one cutest national champion, and I'm going to pet their little head because, hey, congratulations, you won the participation trophy national championship.
We're live. College football playoff national championship preview show. We are here. This is going to be our second to last college football show of the year. Very sad times here. We got Notre Dame, Ohio State. Imagine someone telling you that's going to be the national championship before the season. Before we get into all that, semifinals. We got to talk about what happened on Thursday and Friday night. Let's talk about Friday night first. Ohio State wins 28-14. Somehow, someway, get the most BS cover of all time because Quinn Ewers fumbles the ball. Jack Sawyer, former roommate, scoop and score back to the end zone. Bullcrap cover. Anybody who had Ohio State -6, you should feel gross. You should feel ashamed of yourself. Texas +6 was the right play there, Dylan.
Yeah, Ohio State 5-star, Ryan Day Supreme Court lifetime contract, Mega Max play of the millennium, cashes, and guess what? I get no text congratulating me afterwards. No, everybody's so quick to trash on me with Bucks -3, but after Ohio State waxes Texas, like I said they were going to, it's crickets. It's crickets in the group chat.
No,
and shout out to my
waxes. They didn't wax him.
Well, they waxed him 14 points. That's how my Buckeyes play football. That's how they play football. They're tough. They're gritty. Jack Sawyer, a man of Ohio, a Columbus boy, came back his senior year. Sole goal is to beat Michigan. Some are saying Jack Sawyer is the only player for Ohio State that is going to never have to buy a drink in both Ohio and Michigan ever again. Some are saying.
That's actually great.
Some are saying, not me. But just what I'm seeing on social media. But yeah, Jack Sawyer, huge play. And to see, just in case you guys missed, I am the number one Ryan Day fan in the world. I heart Ryan.
If you're listening on podcast right now, Dylan's wearing an I Heart Ryan Day shirt.
I thought that was a Ryan Fitzpatrick shirt or a
Ryan Gosling
shirt. Yeah, Ryan Gosling, Ryan Reynolds,
Ryan Seacrest, there's a lot of Ryans here, but for this specific instance, it's Ryan Day. And can I just say, Ryan Day and Jack Sawyer sharing an embrace on the sidelines after the big scoop and score. I think we have talked about doing an award show. That was rough to get out. That is going to be a contender for cutest moment of the college football season. It was probably the cutest thing that I saw this whole college football season. I love it.
Dylan.
I just wanted to go over and pat him on the head and say, oh, but I kind of wanted to go hug with him.
I would probably say the cutest moment was Michigan completing a forward pass.
Are we talking about teams that aren't playing any? I mean, their season ended beating Jalen Milroe in Alabama, and we're still talking about them?
Can we talk about the Texas side of this Ohio State game? Because we're going to talk plenty about – what?
I got a comment. Dylan, I've been in touch with Disney already. My ESPN roots. We are trying in the works to make a sports movie flick about that moment. So, Hustle, the movie.
Ryan Day, Jack Sawyer?
Yeah, I've been in contact with them. So we're going to try to make that an emotional.
So are we thinking like a 30-30 from trials to triumph or something like that?
Yeah, over a 4-week span, like getting the flag planted to that moment. I think it's probably the timeline.
Yeah, and it's like
his whole world changed. Holtz at the end.
It's very noble of Jack Sawyer to forego entering the draft where he was probably going to be like a 6th-round pick to come back as well. So I'm happy for him. I mean, guys, these are my Buckeyes right here. They came out to fight.
Let's talk about Texas. Texas loses 14-28 because we're not going to talk about Texas and Penn State a lot. We're going to talk plenty about Ohio State and Notre Dame today. So let's quickly go over these losers real quick. Texas, man. What were the concerns we had going into this game? We said Quinn Ewers has got to be able to make the throws. They got to get the run game going, and Sark can't get too cute. What happened? I don't think Quinn was all that terrible in this game.
He wasn't great.
He wasn't great. I don't think he was the reason they necessarily were awful, though. They couldn't get the run game going at all. I mean, Ohio State's D-line was getting whatever they wanted. Sark got too cute in the biggest moment.
The pitch. Was, the number one thing I will never understand is you got 1 yard to go or whatever it was, and throwing the ball backwards. Going backwards at all will never make sense to me.
But I don't understand it. They had it right there, and they tried it that one time, brought in their power back and go, and it didn't work that one time. They're like, F it. No, we're not doing it. Because, he didn't even want to do it that first time. He was like, I want to show how I'm an awesome hot shot offensive mind. We need to run some end around where flea flicker bull crap from the one. No, run the damn ball and get it into the goal line. Bring in Arch Manning and run the damn ball.
If you got first and 6 inches and you can't get it in 4 plays, you don't deserve to play for a national championship. So to lose 6 yards on the pitch, I think that's inexcusable. I think you're right.
And that's kind of like that's the story of their season a little bit. It's just sort of like having the talent and having everything there to be able to compete and win a national championship, and then kind of getting in their own way and not doing it. I just hate in situations where you need 1 yard, a slow developing run play. Because it just gets
because the defensive do not watch line, Wake Forest football.
The slow mesh. I'm a sucker for the slow mesh.
But the front seven for Ohio State in that situation is expecting a run. They're selling out on the run. And so when it's a slow developing run play, it's just they know what's coming, but it's coming even slower than they thought. Makes it easier to stop.
Yeah, and I will say, credit to Caleb Downs. I know he didn't actually make the tackle, but the way he got through that hole and got to the running back on that play was unbelievable. He played a really solid game, man. He was good.
The haters don't want to admit it, do they, Dylan? They don't want to admit it. Yeah, I think you're right about Texas on that play. And the one thing I wrote down from this game, 13-play, 88-yard, almost 8-minute drive to start the fourth quarter for Ohio State to put them up 21-14. That was impressive. I was impressed by that drive. That was a take the game by the throat, take control of the game. I think that was probably the difference of the game right there.
Did they get a little lucky, though? Because look, as someone who had Texas +6, there's going to be some bias here. But that missed holding call on third down did change the entire game. If that holding call gets called, it's 3rd and 22. It's 3rd and 22. Ohio State's not converting 3rd and 22. We are talking about a completely different ball game after that point. And I saw some Ohio State fans complaining they weren't getting any calls in the game and whatnot. I was like, buddy, I'd keep your mouth shut. I think you came out all right in the end.
Well, most penalized team in the college football this year. Isn't that the stat I saw? 134th?
Well, I thought it was the least amount of penalties called against them. In their favor.
In their favor, yeah.
Yeah. But you play in the Big Ten. So it's like you play in the best conference of college football. It's the most disciplined.
It's really tough, man. Like when you're not getting those calls against Akron and Ball Sack State, it's really hard.
I'm a big Buckeye fan, but I won't argue that. I'm not going to argue MAC champions.
Dylan, how fast do you whip out your Ohio State Masters if they win on Monday night?
The whole internet knows already.
But then
anytime I say something about Ohio State, they're already sleuthing. This guy's got a master's degree from Ohio State. I go get it right now. I'm looking at it.
But that's what I'm saying is a lot of Ohio State fans did not go to Ohio State in any shape or form. They went to Central Ohio. Yeah,
most went to Youngstown State.
Sinclair, Youngstown State, and Jim Tressel's footsteps.
Yeah, and so then you can claim that on them or whatever. But is there anything else you guys want to discuss from that semifinal game? I feel like that's really it. I feel like it's that simple. That Sark got too cute. Ohio State made the big play in the big moment. And that's really about it. Like, Ohio State wasn't that impressive in that game. They weren't this juggernaut we saw in the first 2 weeks. And I think that's a credit to Texas and the athletes and the talent Texas has on their defense and everything. And it's more disappointing. I think this game I came away with, this is more disappointing from the Texans' point of view because the whole what if of this season is, what if they just went with Arch? When Quinn went down initially and they stuck with Arch, how would this season look by the end?
Do you think they would have won this game?
No, I don't.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I do think they're going to have I think next year Arch is going to set the world on fire and they're going to go, "Oh no, we were playing our second best quarterback."
I do think that's correct.
And whether they would have won with Arch or not, that's always going to be in their brain as a what if. And that stinks. That stinks.
And they're going to get a lot of weapons, and you're going to see Texas as a major player in the portal, and I think they're going to make sure he has a lot better weapons than what Quinn had this year, especially the running back position.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they got screwed in preseason. They lost two of the running backs. So.
Yeah. Quinn's going to look pretty good in this light blue, this baby blue I'm wearing right now.
Oh,
He's
no,
not
no,
going
no,
to
Connor. Quinn's going to the draft.
The wrong
Didn't you
Texas
hear?
quarterback.
I know Quinn's going to the draft. We'll see.
That's a point I wanted to bring up. Who on Quinn's PR team said, hey, how about you tell Pete Thamel right before the game starts that you're going to declare for the draft and then proceed to have a 37% success rate in your playoff game? Who is telling him that's a good idea?
But I don't necessarily – the timing of it stinks, but he should tell these teams, like, yeah, I'm going to the draft, just to leverage a little bit more money because he's going to get paid in the portal. Carson Beck's getting $3 million. Carson Beck stunk.
His girlfriend's NIL fund's pretty high, so I'm sure she's chipping in for some of that.
You don't have to tell Pete Thamel. You don't have to go tell Pete that you're declaring for the draft. Is there any chance he reverses that decision?
Oh, 100. I
think very likely.
Take the Carson Beck path?
Where should he go? Genuinely, where is the best spot for Quinn Ewers to go?
I like the top right. I like the top right corner up here.
I don't think he's going to Carolina. I think Florida State seems like a more likely scenario. I don't see him at Florida State, to be honest.
Back to Ohio State.
Because
he can do the commit to Texas, go to Ohio State, transfer to Texas, go back to Ohio State.
Quinn cannot go to a classic like hard-nosed football school where it's like run it down your throat, and that's why that Carolina blue might fit him perfectly.
Ohio State doesn't do that.
He needs to go to like kind of a cute school.
Yeah,
Carolina, very cute school.
Well, Belichick needs an experienced quarterback in his first year there. What do you think he wants?
So, but that's the problem is the colors of Carolina do not show that you guys are a hard-nosed school. It is, we are a finesse, West Coast style. We're going to run a fun offense school, and it's going to look weird seeing you guys run it on 3rd and 7.
It is going to look pretty weird. It's going to look pretty weird. What do you mean? We can't do that.
Get ready to
I had a couple quick things I want to hit on this game. Did Texas win a big game this year? We count Arizona State or Clemson?
Winning the Arizona State game after the momentum flipped like that, I feel like qualifies it just because of the way they won it.
Okay.
I think winning at A&M is a big game because the circumstances behind it was a spot in the SEC title game. It was on the road, last game of the season. They hadn't played in a decade. I think that was a big game in my mind, and I think A&M was good enough for it to matter. Yeah. But I'm not saying A&M was this great team or anything.
Okay. Just curious. I know that was kind of the conversation point, at least coming into this game earlier in the season, was that, Texas is getting all this love, but they haven't beaten anybody, and then they play Ohio State and lose. Texas put Jeremiah Smith on a milk carton, 3 targets, 1 reception for 3 yards. What do we put? Where do we attribute the credit there? Is it Texas defense double him up? Because I didn't get to watch the full
I didn't watch all
game
22
recap.
Or anything.
There was a lot of 2-3 guys shadowing Jeremiah Smith for a lot of that game. And I think from an Ohio State perspective, it's impressive for them to go out and still have a great offense and win that game the way they did without him being a factor. Because that was clearly Texas's number one takeaway was like, we're going to limit Jeremiah Smith. And for other guys to step up, Egbuka had a few big catches. Carnell Tate, Dylan, your boy, 7 for 87. Big game. Yeah. Big drop. Big game.
Big drop. Very big drop. But hey, listen, as an Ohio State fan, you can right your wrongs from the drop, and he righted those wrongs.
He actually did, and so I think it's a credit to Ryan Day and Ohio State's offense for still going out there and moving the ball the way they did for a lot of those drives without Jeremiah Smith being a factor, because that was Texas's number one game plan.
Yeah, for
Judkins played a great game.
He has looked better. He's looked better.
No, and you're going to say, I looked at the stats, and what do you have, 9 for 36?
Yeah, it wasn't great. You'll say 2 touchdowns that were like 3-yard runs and all that stuff.
The runs he made in the moments were so big, and
it looked better than he had all year.
I thought that was the best he looked. I mean, I thought he played a very good game. But you look at the stats, you're like, he only had 4 yards per carry. Yeah, his PFF grade it was a C-.
Can I do you a couple better there, because the Ohio State run game as a whole was feast or famine, and it kind of ended up being a net neutral, 0 EPA per rush. They had no successful power runs, which is 3rd or 4th down, less than 2 yards to go, and you convert. The run game was feast or famine. They had 12 of the runs gained 2 yards or less. 10 of them gained 4 more yards. So it was kind of either it was there or it wasn't for Ohio State. And we'll preview the national championship. That might be a problem against Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Anything else from that game?
Ohio State Buckeye, 2 touchdowns. Quinshawn, baby, let's go. Oh, I did want to say, we can decide whether we want to. We'll leave this in. Travion Henderson, Christian, right here. Me, number one Christian. Well, not number one Christian, but I'm a Christian. And Travion Henderson, what the Ohio State Buckeyes are doing, they're rooted in God, whatever. Absolutely uncalled for in sportsmanlike conduct. And I wanted to read you guys a couple Bible verses that speak specifically about that. Psalm 37:8. Refrain from anger and forsake wrath, for not it tends only to evil. Proverbs 14:17. People with hot tempers do foolish things. Wiser people remain calm. Travion, I know you're watching. I know we're billboard material for you guys in the locker room. Please keep those 2 verses in mind. Maybe throw them on the eye black before the national championship. We can't have any of those silly penalties coming from the number 1 Buckeye fan.
He's still got his fastball. I mean,
I'm just saying.
Dylan can pitch every game in a World Series.
It's very tough going up on a podium and being the big God guy and then a costly unsportsmanlike penalty because you can't control your wrath. Just saying. I think that's one of the Big Ten.
What about a guy like Gunnar Helm who he was calm but just pointed and then got the penalty?
I don't think that flies with Dylan either.
I don't think you can do that. A lot of people were saying that's okay. It's very clear what the intent was there. It's very, very clear the intent was to belittle the person that he was pointing at.
No verses on that?
That's football.
I can find some. I can find Bible verse for just about anything. Just take it out of context.
Dude, Dylan getting into some scripture chases, you know.
Live stream Bible study tomorrow, 6 p.m.
I found Matthew 24:1, and Jesus went out of the temple, and on the way his disciples came to him, pointing out the buildings of the temple. So is he true? Is Gunnar Helm just a disciple who's just pointing out the temple?
Spreading the word, some would say.
Yeah, he's just spreading the word.
Hey, 12th man, Jesus had 12. Just saying. Maybe there's more
Seahawks
Bible.
Seahawks, Texas A&M aren't in the playoffs. 12th man.
I don't get it.
You didn't get
12th man.
Not a football
non-ball
guy.
knower.
Sorry. Non-ball knower.
Well, the 12th man isn't just a Texas A&M or Seahawks thing. That's my high school was doing that when I was in high school. We're the Blue Crew, the 12th man.
Yeah, but they're the most popular ones.
Apparently not.
Well, you're just not a ball knower because you don't watch the games. You're out. You're
Nick
out.
Taylor, huge eagle yesterday during the wild card round. Nick Taylor.
Oh, yeah, there was an albatross, and then you're like, oh, guys, it's okay. I'm acting in a play. Like, I can't watch the SEC title games. Like,
speaking of Jesus,
nativity scene.
I was a wise man, nativity. How is Jesus going to get his myrrh?
Were you calm
out there? Huh?
Who gave him the frankincense?
My grandpa, my papu.
Oh, nice.
One of the boosters. the NIL collective.
Let's get that guy on our team.
Notre Dame, Penn State. Notre Dame wins 27-24. This was a fun game, man. The second half was electric. Shout out Steve Angeli. That dude kept this Notre Dame team alive. Without that drive at the very end of the first half to get that field goal, that game looked dead. Notre Dame felt deader than dead. They came out. Riley Leonard comes back, and they ended up winning this game. Credit to Marcus Freeman. Credit to Notre Dame. But, man, this is brutal for the small game James allegations, Dylan.
Well, I was going to ask that question, is how we feel about James Franklin moving forward. Because you did win 2 playoff games, but SMU and Boise State, who are they against? It's a more than fair argument.
Well, if it was still the 14 format, they would have a whopping 0 wins in the playoffs still.
That's true.
So, some are saying.
Well, they probably wouldn't have been in at all.
I said this already. We can't go around, doesn't matter, but we can't go around toting, James Franklin has 2 college football playoff wins and put it on the same level as the 14 playoffs in the years past. That cannot be looked at as the same. And the narrative, sorry to interrupt you, Dylan, but the narrative is going to be James Franklin's now 1-15 against AP top 5 opponents. He is now 3-10 when both Penn State and the opponent are ranked in the top 10. I think that's a more telling stat right there. And I saw this tweet floating around. Not going to endorse it, but somebody said Marcus Freeman has more wins against top 5 teams in the last 8 days than James Franklin has his entire time at Penn State. That's not coming from me, just the messenger here.
That's tough. That's a tough stat.
It is.
That's a tough stat.
I don't know, because I think the conversation, and we will have this conversation. We've had it with Ryan Day. We'll have it with coaches until I mean, it'll just keep happening as long as college football is still a thing. It's one team can win the national championship every year. Now, in James Franklin's case, you could say, well, he's been here forever, and their success has been capped to a Big Ten championship. I mean, I think it's more than fair to say, can James Franklin break through? Maybe does it say more about the style of football that Penn State plays? But even then, it's like we've seen teams win championships. I'm seriously not trying to do the Michigan bit, but we've seen teams win championships with good defenses, average offenses. I don't know. I like to be patient. I like to give the benefit of the doubt, but it's been years.
The difference is the coach. Like a team like Michigan that won it without a great – I mean, McCarthy was fine, but without a gunner, great quarterback, great coach. It seems like Penn State had the defense. They just didn't have the quarterback, the wide receivers, or the coach.
But you can't move away from him.
No.
Nope.
If you're at – I think it's a different story if you're at Ohio State, you're at Alabama, you're at one of these bigger programs. But Penn State, you got to take James Franklin because – Penn State's a program that can very easily fall into all of a sudden you're Mississippi State or where Florida's at right now.
You're Indiana basketball.
Yeah, I was going to say if you switch coaches, you fire James Franklin or you push him out, you get someone else. Are you likely going to get worse or better? There's a 90+% chance you're getting worse.
So are we saying James Franklin is a good coach?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I think he's a good coach.
Okay,
yeah, he's just maybe not on that. 1A pantheon, right?
So good coach, but just can't win the big game. Can't beat the allegations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think we are quick to be like, oh, this guy can't win the big game, but it has been years and years and years of this, and this guy has not won the big game yet. And you look at the schedule this year, guys, what is Penn State's biggest win this year? Was it Boise State? Was that their most impressive win?
Probably.
Minnesota at USC in overtime where they had to come back?
I still can't get that Colin Cowherd video out of my head from that game.
Time zones, had to travel time zones. Maybe that's
travel time zones. Yeah, close game. Listen, now here's an interesting question I just thought of. We're talking about James Franklin, his ability as a coach, but he doesn't have the resources. Let's say Freaky Friday, Ryan Day, James Franklin switch spots. James Franklin still small game James?
Like where he's at Ohio State?
Yeah, James Franklin's the head coach of Ohio State. You have the resources. You have the talent. Like, there's no question there.
I don't know.
Yeah,
that's a bad answer, but it's impossible to say.
Yeah, you're right.
What do you think?
If the only case we're making for James Franklin not winning these big games is that they don't have the resources, they're not one of these programs, I would have to say he's probably not small game James anymore. If he has the resources and he has the talent. I mean, who is Penn State's best pass catching? Tyler Warren, it's tight end. And Drew Aller, Brandon Walker specifically, but people, Drew Aller's a good quarterback. He's a good quarterback. He kind of showed us not that great. The only time they moved the ball in this game was on the ground, which is concerning for Notre Dame. Again, we'll get into it. Nick Singleton was the only reason this offense, and Tyler Warren, was the only reason that this offense had anything going.
And usually if you're a pro quarterback, you're looking to get drafted, you have to be good enough to elevate maybe a lack of weapons on the outside. And Drew Aller's not that. Penn State wide receivers.
College.
Yeah, exactly. Penn State wide receivers, 0 catches. They didn't have a catch in this game. No weapons on the outside. I've been saying it all year. So if you're Drew Aller and you're supposed to be, a third, fourth best quarterback in this draft, even though he's not going to the draft, but he was talked about that this year, you have to be able to elevate that, especially in college, like you said, Karter. So I don't know. Jury's still out on Drew Aller.
He's gonna be the next first round pick of a guy who's just not shown much of anything. Will Levis came to mind. Anthony Richardson came to mind of a guy who didn't.
Jury's still out on Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, I'm with you, Karter.
The jury's been out on him for 5 years. It's like
Ben, I've got the door cracked. I got the door cracked, but I'm about to slam it.
Stop. Move along.
But the feet are in the pool. Anyways, I just don't. He's got a strong arm, but the dude's just not very good at actually playing football against these top level teams.
Great hair.
But a team's going to convince themselves.
They're
going to go. They're going to do the Josh Allen rocket arm, looks good in shorts. The whole deal. That's what's going to happen to Drew Aller next year. No matter how good or bad he is next year.
If he stopped playing football, he could have a very successful life being a TikTok influencer. I will just say that.
TikTok's going away, so
well, not
we'll
if
see
the
that.
Don can save it.
Yeah,
not if the Don can save
Instagram Reels.
We love YouTube Shorts.
Let's start a new narrative here. Could Drew Aller be in the hype house on TikTok?
Ooh, I can see Drew Aller dating Charlie D'Amelio.
Drew Aller hits Renegade in crazy viral video.
That's like one of those Daily Mail Snapchat promos.
Yeah. You like click through it. Oh my god!
I gotta find Drew Aller doing this dance. Oh, that's awesome.
I will say, it got a lot of buzz on social media after the game when Notre Dame won. ESPN reporter asked Marcus Freeman, "It's like, what's it like being the first black head coach to make the national title game and stuff?" Thought he answered that perfectly.
What did he say? I missed it.
You missed it?
Yeah, I missed it.
Okay, I don't want to butcher
matter?
it, so I'll get the exact quote or I'll share my screen or whatever. But
you're good. I can bring up something real quick while you're looking that up.
Yeah.
We were all, regardless of what side we picked in this game, we were all wrong because I think we all said that whatever team gets out to the lead. We said none of these teams were going to be able to come back from a 2-possession lead. Penn State goes up 10-0. Notre Dame comes back and wins.
I believe Karter and I said Notre Dame would win by 1 point. We were pretty close.
But that's listen. I said no matter what side we picked, I said we've all said that whatever team comes out, there's going to be no comeback. Neither their offense is made for that, and we were wrong.
Well, I pushed back on that when we said that. I was like, I don't know about Notre Dame.
We might need to check the tape there, Connor.
Dylan, I would be careful doubting me after the run I've been on. Notre Dame, Ohio State covers, Buffalo covers, alt spread 23.5, flip-flop to the Ravens.
John
Commanders
Dotson
win outright.
Yeah.
Eagles win.
But were you public about your flip-flop?
I did comment.
He did comment on something. Yeah, he commented on something.
Okay.
I can't remember what.
Before kick, the TikTok video. And I felt slimy, but you got to flip-flop every now and then.
Penn State also dropped halfback slip touchdown away from winning this game.
Better throw, that's a touchdown, right? That's not
100%.
an NFL throw.
100% better throw. That's a touchdown. That's like the Saquon. It's like any Penn State Eagles fan is in purgatory right now because that's the same exact thing that happened to Saquon Barkley. I forget what game it was, but it was that little halfback slip, throws it at his knees behind him, can't make. Well, I won't say
Falcons, right?
Yeah,
maybe it was the Falcons. Right. Yeah.
All right, can you guys hear it if I play it?
Because you are the.
You could hear it. Okay, sick.
Yeah.
Because you are the first black head coach to go to a national championship game in college football. Just hearing that response alone, how much does this mean to you?
You know, I've said this before. I don't ever want to take attention away from the team. It is an honor, and I hope all coaches, minorities, black, Asian, white, it doesn't matter. Great people continue to get opportunities to lead young men like this. But this ain't about me. This is about us. And we're going to celebrate what we've done because it's something special.
Because you...
Initial thoughts, the great people comment after you beat Penn State. I mean,
that's your first
a program that's just riddled in controversy.
Oh, no.
All time. And also, so... Before I get lighthearted, he's exactly right. You know, success is not dependent on the color of your skin. I understand the it's a big deal to be the first black coach to do that. Obviously, yeah, that's great. The bowl of oranges. Can we move the bowl of oranges for the interview?
That was my first thought.
We just have it right in the middle. You got Marcus Freeman's head popping over a bowl of. I understand it's the orange.
They're paying
bowl.
big bucks for that, Dylan. Brand placement. Come on.
Big orange. Big oranges.
Big money, yeah.
Tropicana?
Syracuse is happy right now.
Goal.
I can't escape Kyle McCord.
I will say, guys, this Notre Dame run, I already kind of like Marcus Freeman. I'm becoming a pretty big Marcus Freeman fan.
Are you Marcus Freeman
decisions, interviews?
Are you Marcus Freeman to the NFL? In love with Marcus Freeman?
No, I am not. And if I was another NFL team, I don't think I would be yet either.
Yeah. Marcus Freeman, Ohio State guy, and also. Wayne High School. Shout out Wayne High School, Huber Heights. Like 30 minutes from where I grew up. My uncle teaches there. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm doing it.
7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. There's always a connection, Dylan.
Yep. I actually met Marcus Freeman once. No, I didn't. I'm sorry. I don't know why I lied about that.
Compulsive liar Dylan over here.
I was like, oh, maybe this will lead to a funny bit. No, it didn't.
It's like, yeah, the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl, but the Broncos are going to win the first round.
I'm looking pretty. I'm
covering your bases.
No matter what happened, I'm sitting pretty. Eagles, Bills still in college football show.
No one can beat the Lions except the Eagles.
Should we preview the national title game now?
Last thing I want to say about Riley Leonard. Second highest passing total of the year. Rushing numbers weren't great, but a few of those big third and fourth downs, those runs he had, gutting it out, I thought he played a really good game that the numbers might not fully back up. But I thought he was great in the second half.
It's remarkable to think how much one game has kind of altered college football and what's happened from that. That Monday night, opening night Duke versus Clemson game has changed college football dramatically. The fact that Mike Elko is now at Texas A&M, Riley Leonard's at Notre Dame leading them to a national title game, and all these moving pieces around Duke and other schools after that. It's crazy. One of those regular season games can alter college football forever.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's when you brought that up earlier, I thought that was pretty cool. I'm with you.
Because
Duke football mentioned. Duke football mentioned.
I
national championship preview.
I thought that game might have killed Dabo. When Clemson lost that game, I'm like, oh my gosh, Dabo might be done.
Dabo's in the portal now. Have you guys seen? He's looking now.
Yeah.
Dabo's getting with the times.
Dabbling in the portal.
Coach Sweeney got that drip.
Shout out Josh Payton. Did you see his tweet? He's like, Clemson's leaning too much on the portal. And people got so mad. Oh, I thought that was great.
I love it. Oh, good troll job.
Let's do the national title game. Let's do it. We've got I still can't believe this is the national title game. Before the playoffs, the path was set for these teams though. You look at their paths and you go, well, between Notre Dame and it's going to likely be between Notre Dame or Penn State, Georgia with a backup quarterback and everything. This is likely to be the path. Ohio State, Notre Dame game is in Atlanta. Ohio State is favored by 8.5 in this spot. Over under 45.5. Dylan, do we see another national title blowout?
I got a lot of thoughts here, and I feel like I'm going to jump all over the place. So I'm going to try and consolidate them. Huh?
Take the ball. Take the ball. The ball's all yours.
ISO. Clear the paint. Ohio State Open is a 10-point favorite. I think at some books it was like 7.5. Some books there was a pretty big discrepancy when this line opened. I want to speak a little bit about this national championship and what it means. We talked at the beginning of the season, the teams that were going to benefit most from the expanded college football playoff. And we talked about Penn State. And we talked about Ole Miss. It turns out it's my Ohio State Buckeyes that benefited the most from this. We could possibly see in the college football playoff era the first 2-loss national champion in the history of the college football playoff. I thought that was an interesting point to bring up.
Is that good? Do we like that? Because clearly, if they win the national title, then the best team in the country would have missed the playoff in years past. So are we okay with this?
Well, being an Ohio State fan,
naturally,
I'm more than happy that we have the opportunity to play for it. But some people online are saying possible Mickey Mouse championship, possible Mickey Mouse national title, because both of these teams probably incurred 2 of the 4 worst losses amongst Power 5 teams.
Who's saying that? Will and Wilkerson? Who's saying that?
No, Ryan Day Lover 69. Ryan Day Lover 69 on X and TikTok is saying that.
Is that your burner, according to your shirt?
Wait, what about my shirt would make you think that? Oh, I see what you're saying. 2 of the worst losses came from these teams that are playing the national championship. You have Notre Dame that lost to Northern Illinois. You have Ohio State that lost to Michigan. Again, inexplainable. And as an Ohio State fan, I'm disgusted. I think you could maybe say Alabama losing to Oklahoma and Vanderbilt are probably the other 2 that could be up there.
No, they should have been in. No, they would have blown these teams out.
They should have been in. They're probably a favorite to Notre Dame, if we're being honest. But neither team won a conference title. Neither team played in a conference title. Now, obviously, Notre Dame doesn't play in a conference. But
One team didn't play in a conference? Yeah.
One team didn't play in a conference at all. They didn't even have a chance to. Ohio State, 4th best team in the Big Ten. And again, Ohio State fan, I'm glad we made it. But when you have the 4th best team in your conference competing for a national title, even if they win, you have to kind of be like, oh, what's going on here? let's see, did I get all my playoff that, I said this before, you have SMU, you have Boise getting in, you have Clemson getting in, you have Arizona State getting in. Is this something you really want to hang your hat on? Again, as an Ohio State fan, I do, but I'm just, as there's people talking online. So I am officially dubbing this the world's cutest national champion. Whoever wins this game is the number one cutest national champion, and I'm going to pet their little head because, hey, congratulations, you won the participation trophy national championship. Now, I went on that rant there. I do have actual analysis for this game. Does someone want to start before I keep going? Because I feel like
keep going.
15 minutes of Dylan talking is probably bad.
I want to jump in and just say this. It was 2023, right, where Notre Dame almost beat Ohio State and they ran in that touchdown at the last second, and Notre Dame had 10 men on the field. How much credence do we give this matchup? Like, how much are you guys looking back at, number one, that matchup, or even the 2022 season opener to start Marcus Freeman's tenure at Notre Dame? Are we giving any thought to those matchups as to how he's going to coach this game? Because I thought Notre Dame played them pretty well, especially in 2023.
Do you think he overthinks it?
I don't know. How he kept it close was, I feel like, limiting possessions, right? They dominated time of possession 35-25 in that last matchup last year.
Yeah. Who was Notre Dame's quarterback last year? Commenters are going to have a heyday, but who was it?
Sam Hartman.
Sam Hartman.
It was Hartman. What I think the difference is here, and we talked about this on the NFL show once, I made a clip, is with Riley Leonard, I think the game plan is out there. You don't have to go win this game with your arm. You have a quarterback that is a great runner. You have Jeremiah Love, a great running back. It's like maybe Marcus Freeman doesn't even have the chance to overthink it. The game plan's out there. And we'll do the bit. I know. We'll do the bit. But Michigan running it between the tackles, like that's something Notre Dame can do. That's something that Notre Dame has the guys to do. That's a good question. I don't know. I don't want to start the analysis because I just went for 7 minutes. So someone else wants to kick this off.
Notre Dame allowed 21 points in their first matchup 3 years ago, and then only 17 last time they met. They haven't really been gashed by Ohio State's offense under Freeman in either of those matchups. I don't know. I don't want to start here either. Ben or Karter, you can take the floor. I just want to look back at those two matchups and see.
No, you go first.
No, please.
Nah, you go first.
No, Dylan, come on.
Yeah. Ben, go first. Ben, go first.
Okay. I think this game is going to start out really slow. I think it takes a while for us to see points. It's kind of like a heavyweight fight. They're going to be feeling each other out a little bit. Pause.
We like that.
But I do think
not the Catholics feel each other out.
Yeah, premarital feeling each other out. These teens aren't married.
That's a great point.
That's very true, Karter.
They're not married, but they're in love. Jeremiah Love is going to have a strong. I think he's going to have a strong game on the ground. I do think both teams, a lot of their success is going to be dictated by how they run the ball, how they stop the run. Especially, I think it's going to be interesting with Riley Leonard's running ability. I do think, though, Notre Dame's going to try to take away Jeremiah Smith like Texas. I do have questions about whether they can do that because Texas is the one team, like we're talking about potentially the strongest secondary in college football with Texas. And so that's why I think they were effectively able to do that. So it makes me wonder, I almost wonder, I think the difference is going to be whichever quarterback makes a few more plays, because I do think it's just going to be like a dogfight in the trenches. Like I just think running the ball, offensive line, defensive line, linebackers, like I think those are strengths of both teams. And I think it's going to be like strength against strength. I do wonder, though, like skill position wise on the outside, what quarterback's going to be able to get playmakers involved. I don't trust either quarterback super like a ton in this spot as a national championship quarterback, but one of them's got to win. One of them has Jeremiah Smith. The other doesn't. I think that's going to be a difference here. I think Ohio State maybe wins this game by like 10. I'm saying maybe 27-17.
Okay, couple things. One, as an overall college football playoff discussion, maybe outside of Dylan Gabriel, are any of these quarterbacks in this playoff a national title quarterback in your mind?
No, and I think we've known that. I guess like my point though is like you just close your eyes and you see Riley Leonard hoisting a trophy, or you see
that's fair
confetti
quarterback.
Quarterback.
It's just weird. It's a little weird. You go, ooh, but I don't love the quarterback like as a passer.
That's how I feel about all
that's
of these.
both, and that's all of them.
That's all of them in this playoff. I mean, go back. You got we don't have to go through that.
There's a reason there's none of their names on the first round mock draft boards. I mean, this isn't years past like we've seen.
There's only like 2 dudes on first round mock drafts.
It's true.
Neither of them made that.
Yeah, but I do think this is going to be like good. Like, usually people say Big Ten football and they're just talking about like crappy football. Ha, Big Ten football. No, this is going to be like Big Ten football, where it's going to be like stopping the run, running the ball. Whoever can make a few plays, like a few big plays, some vertical plays on the outside, is going to have the advantage. I have more trust that Ohio State can do that.
I'm nervous about
why.
I'm nervous about one thing in this game, and it's what I saw in the first half of Notre Dame Penn State, especially. Notre Dame's D-line was getting pushed around. And I didn't think that was going to happen going into that game. We know Notre Dame's pass defense is one of the best in the country, if not the best. But that run D was getting absolutely murdered by that Penn State offensive line. And if Ohio State can have any success on the ground, it is going to be extremely difficult for Notre Dame to win this game. If they get bullied like that again, I don't know. Ohio State can punish them more, especially in the air, and that'll open up things for Will Howard more. Because essentially what happened was Drew Allard just couldn't make the easy throws. Drew Allard makes an easy throw for a touchdown right there. We're talking about a totally different ball game. If he just the little check down on the flat, all he had to do was make that throw. We're talking about Penn State versus Ohio State. Will Howard's going to be able to make that throw, especially if Judkins and Travion Henderson are going to have space like that.
Number one Buckeye fan here, right? Are we sure we're 100% confident that Will Howard can make those throws? Because I have seen Will Howard sail Jeremiah Smith in the flat on the sideline 3 or 4 times this year, wide open.
How many in the last couple games?
Well, Oregon. Are we serious right now?
We are serious.
Yeah, we are very serious right now.
The team that was going to beat Ohio State by double digits.
Well, I'm batting like 600 on Ohio State takes this year. I'd be in the Hall of Fame and some if that was the case.
Are you?
Yeah, Indiana beat Ohio State. Oregon beat Ohio State the first time. I was wrong about Penn State. I was wrong about Oregon in the Rose Bowl, and I was right about Ohio State against Texas. That's 3 out of 5. That's 600.
Wait, 3 out of 5. That's 2
That's
out of 5.
3 out of 5, 6 out of 10,
That's 2
600.
out of 5. 2 out of 5.
No. Indiana. I was right. I took Indiana. Or no, I took Ohio State over Indiana. I was right.
Okay.
I was right about Oregon the first time, and I was right about this past game.
You said Oregon was going to win by double digits.
They would win the game, and they won the game.
You said by double digits.
Well, how about this? I'll send you my DraftKings account, and I'll let you know if that bet hit. Okay.
If you're playing horse, if you're playing horse, and I say bank, and then you swish the shot, does it count?
We're not playing basketball, by the way. We're not playing horse. We're betting football. I mean, what are we doing here?
You said, if you took Oregon alt spread minus 9.5, does that count?
I did not say that. No, I did not.
You gave that betting advice out. You gave that betting advice out.
Yes, you did. Check the tape. Yes, you did.
I said take Oregon alt line. No, I didn't say that.
Yes, you did. That's what we're saying.
But besides the point, the point is I own Ohio State. I'm the world's number 1 Ohio State fan. I want to point out something you said. You had mentioned that Notre Dame's defensive line getting pushed around by Penn State. Ohio State's offensive line is not Penn State's offensive line.
I was going to add that as well.
It is not even close.
Fair.
So to say, I think what concerns me, and truthfully, I'm really struggling on what side to take here. My instincts. For entertainment,
the smile got me. Got me.
For entertainment purposes, no. But for serious purposes, yes, because we know Notre Dame has the number 1 pass defense in terms of EPA per dropback. We know that. But this Notre Dame rush defense against Penn State did not look good. That's the only type of ground that Penn State was able to gain. And we touched on Ohio State's performance on the ground against Texas. It was feast or famine, but we saw it get going a little bit more than we did against Oregon, Tennessee, Michigan. Like, it was on paper, the numbers don't look great, and it was feast or famine, but it did look better. And that really concerns me for Notre Dame. Position groups?
Let's do it.
Please, enlighten us.
Now, this one was surprisingly tough. We're already starting off hot here. Quarterback. Quarterback, I said Notre Dame. Solely because of what can be done on the ground. I agree. We have Riley Leonard over 5 yards per carry compared to Will Howard's 1.9.
Well,
now,
are we talking about Will Howard in the playoff, or are we talking
Riley
about
Leonard as a passer also has been less than stellar?
That's true too, and 100%. I am going to say, with saying Notre Dame's quarterback is better, I am saying that, and I understand we're kind of blurring the lines between position groups. Riley Leonard's ability to rush the ball so much better than Will Howard, combined with the rush threat of Notre Dame, makes Riley Leonard more valuable than Will Howard. It's a close one. I'm not going to sit here and say it's a blowout, but very close. Also, Karter, you said something about playoff games. Can I go ahead and cherry pick Riley Leonard's best games too and count those stats?
But only if they're the most recent 2 games.
Yeah. There it is. Okay. All right. Running back, Notre Dame.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Wide receiver,
if he's healthy.
Yeah, if Jeremiah Love is healthy. Wide receiver, Ohio State. Offensive line, Notre Dame. Defensive line, I said Ohio State. And secondary, I said Ohio State.
Really?
I said, and it's not as close as you would think.
So I don't want to clog things up, but you said you liked Ohio State's wide receivers better.
Yeah.
So would that make Indiana have the best wide receiver room in the playoff?
You could
Rose Bowl update.
Maybe Oregon.
Orange
if
Bowl
Evan
update?
Stewart was healthy. Maybe. What'd you say, Karter?
I said Orange Bowl update, and then Connor said Rose Bowl update, and then I was hoping someone else would maybe chime in and go, didn't you say Texas would only score 10 against Michigan?
Oh my gosh, that feels like it happened years ago. That feels like it happened back during COVID.
That really does. It does feel that long.
Do you think we get those comments like next October?
100%.
Oh, yeah. And I'm kind of glad Texas fans have unfollowed me after the Ohio. I'm so glad. 240 bookmarks on that video, by the way, and not a word came back after that. I just want to say,
not one word. It
not
was a couple
one
people
word
being
Texas
like,
fans.
"You got lucky by the refs," and then that was it.
Real loser stuff for some of those Texas fans. Anyway, going back to the game, the real story for Ohio State is their defense. I really see this being a slugfest, Ben, like you said, but conversely, we saw Penn State. I understand Drew Aller didn't have that great of a game, but there were a couple plays you could point out, the 30, 40-yard passes to Tyler Warren on this Notre Dame pass defense that's supposed to be so stout. What makes you think that, or what makes anybody think that won't happen once or twice this game, both for Ohio State and even Notre Dame? Riley Leonard went over top this Penn State defense once or twice, and that kind of worries me when it comes to the total, because I think anybody that watches football is going to say slugfest, slow game, low-scoring game. But we've seen glimpses from both these teams. They can be really explosive when they want to be. Now, as an Ohio State fan, I am a little worried about the Jeremiah Smith 3 targets, 1 catch, even if that means you can let a guy like Carnell Tate make the plays. If you double up Jeremiah Smith or you shadow him or whatever, do that. Take him out.
That was the right move by Texas to do that, I do think.
Because Ohio State's offense from the first playoff game against Tennessee and then the Rose Bowl compared to the Cotton Bowl it was night and day difference. And I understand we can look at the score, say 14-point win. Offensively, they were much more electric. It feels like a weird word to say, but they were much more explosive those first 2 games than they were against Texas. And I think the recipe for success against Jeremiah Smith is out there. Just double team him, let Carnell Tate, Egbuka, whatever. Do what you got to do. I think Notre Dame is well equipped to do that.
Real quick, Dylan, stat off that comment. It was funny. I was looking this up doing my prep. Ohio State has the number 1 passing attack in the country based on EPA. So I was like, oh, man, like that must mean something. Indiana was number 3. Penn State had number 4. And Louisville was number 9. So Notre Dame has seen, 4 teams in the top 10 of pass EPA? Thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and there are so many things that could go either way here. I think you also look at Ohio State's defense. Their stuff rate against rush play is not great, 31st percentile. It really is not as good as you'd expect from this Ohio State defense.
Make your pick, Dylan. It's time.
It pains me. It pains me as an Ohio State fan. I think we're looking at the Fighting Irish as national champions here. I think they beat Ohio State, win outright. And it pains me because I want Ryan Day. Put on a quote. Just screen grab this. I want Ryan Day there for life, but and it is a win-win for me if we're being completely honest, because this is the world's cutest national championship. But I think Notre Dame wins.
How?
Okay.
I think it's on the ground. I think that they shock Ohio State. I would not be surprised. 7 pass attempts in the first half for Notre Dame. Maybe they even go into the second half losing, and it's one explosive play over the top that Ohio State isn't expecting, and that's the difference.
So 2 things here. One, the Ryan Day part of this. Ryan Day's getting an extension regardless, right? Even if he loses this game, unless he gets blown out by 20 plus. If this is a remotely close game, Ohio State fans were talking a big game after the Michigan one. He should be fired. He should be fired. Yeah. Now all of a sudden, Ohio State fans are calling Ryan Day this genius, and he's this amazing coach and everything. It's very convenient how you're all of a sudden in love with this guy. People buying shirts off Temu.
I wouldn't. As an Ohio State fan, I wouldn't be doing that.
Do they completely do a 180 though if they lose this game? I think they do.
I think they do.
Gosh,
that's the thing.
yes.
I think after the game they're going to be like, he can't win the big one. He's got this ceiling and all this stuff. It's like, I don't know, man. He just went out and whooped Tennessee, whooped Oregon in the Rose Bowl.
Doesn't matter.
Won by
That's
double digits in Dallas against Texas. It's like, I think you got the guy you want. But it's not going to matter because they're like, we were an 8.5 point favorite against Notre Dame, which is tough. But,
you put on those Buckeye shades, Carter. You know what you see as a Buckeye fan? Lost to Michigan as a 20-point favorite. Lost in the national title game. That's all they're going to see, and you know that.
And trust me, Buckeye fan here. No one is ever going to say that Buckeye fans are the first to have a rational thought. No one is going to say that Buckeye fans are the first to actually use logic when assessing a situation like that. So, Connor, you're exactly right. It's lost to Michigan, national championship loss, Ryan Day out, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know. I was going to make a James Wexner joke, but I feel like that's overplayed.
So Notre Dame,
real close with Epstein, and they named buildings after that guy in Columbus.
But you're an Ohio State guy.
But I am an Ohio State guy, number 1 Buckeye fan.
Should we get into the Carolina stuff, Dylan, that I was texting you about?
We can.
COVID started in
Connor,
North Carolina.
We can't get demonetized. Connor.
So, look, I want to lay this out before I get into my true pick. There is a key for Notre Dame. There is a path to win here, and I think that path is forcing Ohio State to turn the ball over. They forced 32 turnovers this season. Notre Dame finished plus 15 in turnover margin heading into this game, and they forced Drew Aller into that late pick, which led to their game-winning field goal. Can they force Will Howard to do the same? I'm not sure, and the other positive from Notre Dame is I don't think they'll get too cute in crucial situations. I don't think they're going to pull a Steve Sarkisian and pitch the ball on 1st and 1 from the 6-inch yard line or whatever. They're not going to do that. If there's one thing I've seen about Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman throughout this run in the playoffs, they've been well coached. They have not been out coached, and I want to give that credit to Notre Dame. However, as much as I love Riley Leonard as a competitor, as a dog, he was out there some of those 3rd, 4th, and shorts, gutting it out, getting first downs. This Ohio State defense is different. Riley Leonard as a passer has been less than stellar, and Notre Dame's lack of playmakers on the outside, I think that matters. You're going to have to get a surprise breakout superstar performance from one of these Notre Dame wide receivers if they even want a chance, and I don't see that happening. I think Ohio State is able to stifle Notre Dame's run game, and I don't think they're going to be able to play through that. Will Howard's been dealing. I like Jeremiah Smith to be more involved early and often. Give me Ohio State. I don't think it's a blowout. I know that's boring. I don't think it's a blowout, but I do think it's a comfortable 10, 13-point win. Maybe Notre Dame scores in garbage time to make it closer than it actually is. But if the thing is, I'll close with this. If Ohio State plays average, they will win this game. If Ohio State plays average and they just play okay, and this is a normal game without any crucial red zone turnovers, they're going to win. Notre Dame's only path is a key turnover or a blocked punt, return kick, something that we don't expect. That's their path. I don't think it happens. Give me Ohio State. 24-16 Vegas special. There's my prediction.
I love it. Ben, Ohio State, Notre Dame. Here we going.
I think I touched on it earlier, but I think Ohio State 27-17.
All right.
Karter?
I came into this, I wanted to pick Notre Dame. I wanted to, but I'm not. Don't overthink it.
I love it. Oh,
I know. Dylan Island, he loves being on an island. Dylan loves islands. Dylan loves going to islands with certain people. Dylan,
What island is Dylan love? I was going to say.
Yeah, yeah. Dylan
Ohio
loves
State guy,
islands.
makes sense.
But yeah.
Yeah.
You're kind of right, Connor. I don't want to say that about my own people, but you're kind of right.
I think Connor nailed it. If Ohio State plays an average game in this one, they'll win this ball game. Riley Leonard, do we actually trust him to make the big throws against this Ohio State defense? I'm not so sure. I think the weapons are the difference in this one on the outside. I don't trust Notre Dame's weapons on the outside. I don't trust Bo Collins, Faison, and Grayhouse to outscore and have a better game than Egbuka, Smith, and Carnell Tate.
Would Carnell Tate be the best receiver on Notre Dame?
Yeah.
Probably.
There you go.
And so I think that's going to be the difference in this one. And I think the most underrated story about going into this national title game is the injuries to Notre Dame's defense. I think if they had a fully healthy defense, we're talking about an even better, maybe the best defense in college football. Give me Ohio State in this one. I still think Notre Dame covers the number, though, but don't trust my advice on any of this. I can't hit a pick to save my life recently, so Ohio State 31, Notre Dame 24. Sneaky high scoring.
Yeah, I'm going to go Notre Dame 27, Ohio State 24. Notre Dame, cutest national champions ever.
Is that just because Marcus Freeman's the coach?
For the cutest?
Yeah.
Well, if Notre Dame wins, yeah. If Ohio State wins, it's the cutest because it's like a Mickey Mouse, like two-loss national champion. Has that
Bubble
ever happened
national
before?
Championship.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
it's
going
like
to be
2020
like
Lakers.
Yeah, 2020 Lakers, Dodgers when they won it, and then Ohio State in the 12-team playoff, apparently.
Serious question that I just thought of. Or I should have brought it up earlier, but I just thought of it. Is there any concern, like Nico had some success when they had to face a dual threat quarterback, Ohio State, like Nico had some success on the ground. And I guess Dylan Gabriel, you can maybe make the argument, but they weren't really playing in a position to unleash that, I don't think. Even Alex Orji in the Michigan game had some success on the ground. Is there any concern about that?
That Tennessee game, real quick, Dylan Sampson went out early, so Nico was kind of forced to carry the ball 20 times. I don't think they really had another option. So I don't know how much stock I put in that.
We have seen Ohio State kill starting running backs. So we saw Jordan James went down. We saw Dylan Sampson went down. Now Jeremiah Love has been dealing with injuries all playoff. Does Ohio State try to kill him in this game, Dylan?
Speaking as an Ohio State fan, number one Ohio State fan, for the Ohio State fans, yes, they do.
Okay, just making sure you're speaking for the Ohio State fans.
Yeah, every one of them.
I think that's a good point about the mobile quarterbacks. Also,
do you want to flip?
No, I'm not going
to flip. Do you want to flip?
No, I bet you'll get a text from me Monday afternoon at like 3 p.m. being like, I think I'm flipping.
Ohio State. It's all Ohio State.
Doing the Mitt Romney. I'm going to flip again. I think that's an interesting point. Also, real quick, in that Texas game, that one play I do love that Sark ran was Gunnar Helm was under center, and it snaps through his legs to Arch on that 4th and 1. I love that play. So many coaches are going to steal that. We're going to start seeing that more and more next season.
Any fake sneak like that. Like, I've seen...
Who started the tight end sneak? Because we've seen that in the NFL in the playoffs so far with Tucker Kraft, the tight end running to the ball and then sneaking
I think it's the Eagles. The Eagles were just like, we've got Jalen Hurts, he's big enough. And so these other teams were like, I don't want to put Bryce Young under center. Hey, let's get this tight end. Let's do that.
Let's get Tommy Tremble in there.
Yeah, it makes way more sense. Let's push the tight end in. Every team
Ian Thomas can touch the ball for the first time all year.
No,
I am more of a fan of the you snap it to the quarterback and the quarterback like snaps it again to somebody behind him and they think it's a sneak. You ever seen that where it's like quarterback's under center, snap it to the quarterback and then he snaps it? You guys have seen it.
What about a Bundle-Rooski?
A Bundle-Rooski.
Anything else on what?
Anybody see Lou Holtz's prediction?
What did he say?
No, I didn't. What did he say?
It was not as fiery as I would have hoped. He said he likes Notre Dame, but Ohio State's
be
best team in the country.
I think that Ryan Day.
What if Ryan Day calls him out again in the post game if they win?
That'd be so funny.
I think he might just legitimately die.
That might be it. I think you're right.
Like actually.
That would be quite the narrative.
Instead of a Jimmy Carter Day of Observance, we have like a Lou Holtz Day of Observance.
Jeremiah Smith couldn't do crap against this Notre Dame defense.
Lou Holtz steals the day. His last laugh. Ohio State wins a title, but the news outlets are all about him.
Lou Holtz. That would be so
It's
funny.
the final laugh.
Does Lou Holtz gritty if Notre Dame wins?
That would be. I would need a clip of that.
Are you wanting to see that video or a Drew Allen renegade?
Gosh,
that's tough.
So that's awesome seeing Drew.
You're talking about Jordan and Pippen. I mean, that's
Questions that need answers.
yeah. Carter, what are we doing about? Are we teasing anything yet?
Oh,
are we revealing anything yet, or what are we
not
doing?
Tease it. I think we announce it. We've
all right.
teased it already beforehand, but it is official. Dylan, we will be going live for the national title game. Ohio State, Notre Dame will be live on Twitter and YouTube. TikTok, TBD. Got to get the technology working first on that one.
It might be banned.
That's the first day
It
without
might be
TikTok.
banned, yeah. It is
Might be banned
inauguration
by
day.
then.
So Dylan and I will be going live for Martin Luther King Day and Inauguration Day. Coincidentally, the national title game is on that day, so, whatever. But we will be going live on all KarterKasts, YouTube, Twitter, follow. We will be live. Come in, chat with us. All the haters in the comments, come in. You can talk to Dylan live. We'll respond to comments live on the air.
If you're going to hide behind an anonymous account in the comments section, at least come do it in the chat.
Yeah,
Dylan,
at least
a
come
lot
do
of
it in the
people.
chat.
A lot of people are going to be asking, especially the live on Martin Luther King Day, do you have over 9 MLK signed items?
It makes Darren Ravel's collection look minuscule. It makes it look microscopic.
Good. I think it took Karter a second there, but
No. I was waiting for Dylan's response.
There's been a few quotes Dylan's put out by Martin Luther King this year, specifically one on the TikTok clip I'm thinking of. So,
Oh shoot, I can't even remember what it was. Something about injustice, standing up, being silent when you see injustice. It was for Alabama.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Did Dylan really quote Martin Luther King?
I didn't have that on my 2024 bingo card.
Rose Bowl update.
Oh my gosh, it's good. Dylan's gonna post a picture and when he has his first kid or whatever, and he's like best day of my life, I have a child, and someone's just gonna comment Rose Bowl update.
And that someone's gonna be me.
Yeah, it'll be and then I will comment, I thought Texas was gonna score less than 10 points. So.
We're gonna be 50 years old.
Oregon by double digits.
Yeah, exactly. I don't forget this stuff, Dylan.
Just for every Michigan's or Texas isn't going to score more than 10 points. Just remember, there's a Penn State, Boise State.
But we will do a quick instant reaction show for the Notre Dame Ohio State game. Wrap up, put a bow on the college football season, and we'll be here all NFL playoffs, college basketball, NBA stuff coming hot and heavy very soon. Dylan, we'll be doing stuff all season. Don't worry. You're gonna be like, pumped. Oh well, wait, is Dylan leaving? No. Dylan's gonna be in the content.
I'll be here.
Dylan will be making an appearance on the March Madness show. That is a guarantee.
Some people forget Furman over Virginia. Sorry, Ben. 2 years ago, Furman over Virginia. You remember that, Karter?
Some people forget Dylan originally did the March Madness show. Who knows?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I called in sick.
Call in sick. I know. Anyhow, that's it from us. Make sure to follow, subscribe at KarterKast on everything. Live stream Notre Dame, Ohio State, YouTube, KarterKast, X, whatever you want to call it, everything on there. Download SeatGeek, use code KarterKast, $20 off your first purchase, $50 minimum purchase required. Like and subscribe to the stream. Hit that when you go to the stream. First thing you do, hit that like button, and then comment your hate towards us or comment what you like towards us or whatever. We'll see y'all next time, right after the national title game. Bye.